preciousness and luxury are both two things that are considered very different for very different people. Writing with fountain pens is a really beautiful experience, and I really wanted to make sure that I can provide you guys some more insight so that you can make more informed decisions. Also, I will be attending the London Pen Show at Novotel. I think it's Novotel in March. So if you see me, come say hi. I would absolutely love to see more people in person who are in this hobby. I met some of you at the Techo Caravan. I would love to see your faces and have a chat. So there are the basic rundown things to consider when investing in fountain pens, which is the budget, the design, the nib materials, the nib shapes, ergonomics. I also wanted to include some things that are not as often discussed, including experience, context, design intricacy, and transport. I bought my first fountain pen. This was the Kaweco collection. As you can see, it's already rubbed off because of how long I've used this. One thing that I highly recommend to do when you start, first off, investing in fountain pens is to give it a test period. Now, I was a bit extreme. I took about 2 to 3 years of just using this pen to decide if I even wanted to expand it a little bit. I was so devoted to this. I used this basically every day, and I thought, you know what, this is sticking to me. I'm really liking the experience, the look, the feel of it, and that's when I started moving on. If you want something that is very consistent in quality, I would highly recommend this branch. This is the Pilot Kaküno and TWSBI Ecos. As you can see, I have several TWSBI Ecos. One of the first things I would consider, do you want to have this trial phase? If so, I would definitely recommend Pilot Kaküno. It is low price. It is such a good starter fountain pen because it also has a plastic body. You can put it in your pencil case or your bag and not be too worried about it. They have these nice translucent designs and these nibs that are super reliable and super soft, and you can see this one has a little face on it. It's really adorable. And because Pilot is like widespread brand, it is also really easy to find the ink that is highly compatible with this. So highly recommend that for your test drive. Some people consider, I guess, a level of experience with justifying the cost of something, but I think it's not that clear cut. For example, a really experienced person could highly prefer the TWSBIs over the really expensive ones. These are the cheapest ones, with the Pilot Kaküno being the cheapest. Then I have my TWSBI Ecos, and on the higher end of things, I have a Pilot Decimo and a Sailor. And the Sailor is, at this point, my most expensive pen. I think where you are and the circumstances that you surround yourself with also do inform what decision you make in this case, because I think there are certain environments where I think walking in with a really expensive fountain pen is highly inappropriate. The very basic things that you need to know as a beginner with fountain pens are nib size, the filling mechanism, materials, and ergonomic. Nib size. This affects your writing style and your ink combos. So if you have really small handwriting, I would definitely go for a thinner nib size. My personal favorite is the TWSBI Eco. This is my daily driver. I use it every single day. What is so great about these is that for their price point, the nibs are super soft, and because it has a piston mechanism, it has a really high capacity for ink. As you can see, the body being clear also is really nice, so you know exactly when it's time to refill your ink. Nib sizes go from extra fine to broad, and there are extension options for like calligraphers, like 1.1 stub nibs or architect nibs, and these all affect the way that your handwriting looks on the page. Another advantage with larger nibs will allow you to see the different colors and shading within the inks that you use. So if you're using a really special color, for example, in this Jade TWSBI Eco, I have a wearing gold ink that has really nice blue shading. It's called Wendy Darling, and having a broad nib really shows off the qualities of that ink. Generally, there are two filling mechanisms. There is the cartridge and converter, which is basically these little things. If I disassemble this Kaküno, you can see it clearer. So you see this is a cartridge. You can buy the cartridges and like consistently change them if you want. What I personally do is I buy one box of cartridges and I will refill the same cartridge that I have in these pens. I find it more cost effective, and that way I can just buy one set of cartridges and use them until I actually had never had to throw anyone away, so these could possibly last me the entire time that I use them. The advantage with cartridges is that you can easily swap the colors, so you don't have to be committed to like the entire cartridge in one go. You can get a lid for it and store it and use it again at another point. It's also very easy to clean. This is where the piston and vacuum filling mechanisms tend to be a bit more tricky. Even if you do it as cleanly as possible and you've done it a million times in practice, there is the tendency for some reason to still get it on your hands. I just consider that a part of the experience at this point. So piston and vacuum mechanisms basically work so that you can place the pen directly into the inkwell and pull up the ink so it fills up immediately this way. I find it really convenient, and if you're using these pens on a daily basis, you do want to make sure that you have enough ink in them to last you a long time, otherwise it becomes quite tedious to constantly be refilling them. Design and nib material tend to be the two main things that make a fountain pen really costly. So these cheaper fountain pens will be in a plastic casing, and the more you go up, we're talking about resins and metals, the material of the nib. The general materials are stainless steel. Going up, you will get into the territory of gold. Now, the difference between stainless steel and gold in this case is that stainless steel are very affordable, they're reliable, and they are durable. When we're getting into the more luxurious zone of things, gold, they come in usually about 14, 18, and 24 karat nibs. A quality of gold is that it's very soft, and you know when you're writing with a really good gel pen, for example, and you get that really buttery feeling on the page, gold basically achieves that feeling. It's that buttery special. If you guys can experience it in person, I highly recommend doing that. For example, this is my Pilot Decimo in violet. The advantage of this pen in particular, this is in the medium nib, so when you combine the gold material of the nib and the thickness of the nib, you're going to get a really soft writing experience. When you get a gold nib that is much finer, you won't notice the softness of the gold that much because the surface area is pointed to that tiny area. But as soon as you increase that surface area, you'll have more of the sensation of softness. This is my most expensive fountain pen. This is a Sailor. It is in the colorway called Spring Rain. I absolutely adore the name, and also these are basically my two favorite colors. Actually, with the gold, 3. Sailor pens in this line tend to be restricted in nib size. This one only comes in a medium fine. I would have preferred one that was slightly thicker, especially because out of all of my fountain pens, this is definitely the thinnest. Another thing to consider is the ergonomics of these products. People with smaller hands will tend to want to use smaller pens, and if you're writing for a longer time, it's much better to write with a pen that is light than one that is heavy because it's more strain on your hands. Transportation is another thing I would heavily consider. When you have plastic ones like this, you can easily throw them into a plastic box. Here you can see I use the case that the TWSBI Ecos come in. I just removed the paper and the filling, put some Chico stickers on it, and this is now my pen case for these. One thing I've done is I've taken a Sustrine green brush case like this, and I've actually sewn two of them together. Like, I hand sew it, so it's not that clean, but it gets the job done. And this way I have padding on the inside. I can put some more here. There's some space here for the small one. Let me know if you guys would like a tutorial on this. I'm not a good like seamstress, but this worked out for me. It does its job and it keeps them safe. Because it's like a fabric plush material, I find much more comfort in storing them this way. I prefer fabric ones just because I'm a bit like bothered by leather. For some reason, yeah, I have like this mental block with leather, like knowing that it's skin being repurposed. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but I'd also like to introduce you to another, like, I guess decision-making tool, which is the SWOT analysis. Many of you probably have heard of it, but it essentially is a chart. Here I have an example in my notes. This is my slim Stalogy. A SWOT analysis is basically the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of whatever decision you're making. So as a sample, let's say someone was thinking of investing in a TWSBI Eco. This person, just random, already writes a lot, so this person knows that they're going to be using this pen frequently. They love the design, and one pen can constantly be used with a large combination of inks, and so the versatility is a real advantage. The weaknesses is that this person has to save a bit more money. Maybe it could be worth it. It could be like a saving challenge, and it could be saved for a special event. So there is a way to make a weakness a strength. The opportunities is that even though you write consistently, it could be that your handwriting is not consistent. So having a more, like a pen that you saved for could incentivize you into improving your handwriting, which is always a benefit. The threat that this person notices is that what if they invest in it but they don't use it? Honestly, I highly recommend doing the trial like test period. So yeah, that is it for the fountain pens. I hope this provided you guys with some insight and helps you make some more informed decisions, because trends come and go, they can make things obsolete, and it is so exhausting. Just don't get swept up with all of the outside noise. That's what I can recommend the most. And a little bit of journal update. I don't know if this has been like on your timelines, but this song, wow. It's so good. Barbie is right. Barbie is right. And then, oh, I have like some really exciting things that happened this weekend, or like just the weekend that came. I was invited to be a presenter at the Hobonichi meeting caravan in London, and it went so well. I still need to finish this entry. It was so much fun. I'm still waiting on some footage of that, and I will be making a vlog of it. Yeah, and this is like a sample of like how my stickers turned out. Guys, they're so beautiful. I'm so happy with them. When you receive them, they will come with like a white border, but as soon as you remove them, they're clear and they turn out like this. They're so cute. I've been wanting a dragon jelly cat, like since I've known about jelly cats, but I've never found one in a colorway that I liked until this one. My goodness. I think this is supposed to be a part of their Valentine's collection, and this is not sponsored by Jellycat, just saying. It's just because I saw it. I never saw one in a colorway that I liked until I saw this one, and this is called the Heart Dragon, which I find so sweet. Yeah, that's like a random thing that I purchased. I think, oh, it's so soft and so cuddly. It's really perfect for this really gloomy January winter weather. And also for Valentine's Day, which is coming up. I have some exciting things coming up for Valentine's Day, so stay tuned for that. And for now, this is bye. See you.